It's a marvelous Monday. We have Monday, May 4th, 2020 math columns. Please make sure that you put your name first and last here at the top. And then let's look at problem number 1. It says there are 785 evergreen trees in the state park. After a bad storm, 199 trees fell down. How many trees are there now? Right, so looking at our key numbers, we have 785 in the problem, and we have 199. We have to figure out what to do with them. So I go back and look at the problem again. So we start off with 785 evergreen trees. And after the bad storm, 199 fell down. So how many trees are there now? So if they fall down, we're going to get rid of them or minus them. So I set up my problem. I have 700, 7 in the hundreds place, 85, 8 tens, 5 ones, and I'm going to minus 199 of the trees. All right, so I have everything stacked. When I minus, I'm looking at 5, start at the top, 5 minus 9. So if I have 5, I take away 9, I can only take away 5 and I'll make it to 0. If I take away 9, I'm going to be in the negative. So we don't want a negative in 3rd grade. So we go to our next door neighbor, knock on the door. We say, can we borrow a cup of sugar? The 8 says, sure, I have 8 of them. So you can have 1, and the 8 becomes a 7. All right. I still have the 7 plus the 1 equals that 8 back. Or 70 plus 15 still gives me the original 85. But now I can subtract. 15 minus 9. So if I'm at 15 and I take away 9, or I can count up, 9 plus what gives me 15? So 6. 15 minus 9 is 6. 7 minus 9. Uh-oh, this is a smaller number on top. So if I subtract, I'm going to have a negative. I'm going to have negative 2. I don't want a negative in 3rd grade, so I'm going to go to my neighbor, knock on the door, ask to borrow a cup of sugar. He says, sure, I have 7. You can always have 1. All right, so 7 minus 1 is 6. Now we have 6 in the hundreds place. All right, I go back. 17 minus 9, so I know my facts. I know 9 plus 8 gives me 17. It's a fact family. So 17 minus 9 equals 8. And 6 minus 1 is 5. So our answer should be 586. Let's go ahead and check that. When you check, you take these 2 numbers here and add them together, and if we do it correctly, we should get the 785 that we start with. So I line up my numbers. Here's my check, 586. I'm going to do the opposite. It's a fact family. All right, 199. And when I add them up, 6 plus 9 or 9 plus 6 is 15. I put my 5 down and carry my 1. 9 plus 8 is 17, plus 1 is 18. Or I can say this is 9 plus 9 is 18. Put my 8 down, carry my 1. 7 plus 1 plus, I'm sorry, this is 5 plus 1 gives me 7. So that checks out because I get my 785 back. So our answer is there are 586 trees left. Our second problem says find the total area. All right, remember area equals length times width, but that's for squares, rectangles. This is an odd looking shape here. So we have to divide this up into 2 separate rectangles. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it right here so I have 2 separate looking shapes. All right, so let's look at how that would look. I know length times width equals area, but I have to divide this up. Now look what happens. When I divide that up, I cut that 7 up. This rectangle right here is 5 by 3. So I'm just going to do 5 times 3 and get the area of the top rectangle. I can either multiply or I can do my array. I can have 3 going down, 1, 2, 3, and 5 going across the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5, 10, 15, or 5 times 3 equals 15. So the area of this rectangle is 15. Now let's look at the bottom. This rectangle, I know this is 2 right here. My problem is this right here. I don't have a number on either side. What I do have is this whole line right here equals 7. But I cut it right here. Looking at the top rectangle, opposite sides are the same. So if this side is 3 in a rectangle, this side has to be 3. I know the whole length is 7. So 3 plus what right here equals 7. So if I'm at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3 plus 4 equals 7. So this side has to equal 4. Now I have a 4 by 2 rectangle at the bottom. I can either multiply, because length times width equals area, 4 2 times, or I can draw my array, my rectangular array here, and I have 2 going across the bottom, and I need 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. So I have 4 times 2. So 4 2 times is 8. You can also look, I get the 7 back going up here. I have 1, 2, 3 in the top rectangle, 4, 5, 6, 7. This whole length is still 7, but I broke it up. All right, now I need to find the area of the whole shape. So I had 15 up here and 8 down here. I'm going to add those together. So if I start at 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So 15 plus 8 is 23 square units. All right, so our answer is going to be 23 square feet. Our units is feet in this one. The third problem says, what is the fraction of the shaded portion? So our key words here are fraction, and each of these are a fraction. They have that slanted line. They have a numerator and a denominator. Numerators on top, denominators on the bottom. We have to find it of the shaded portion. All right, so I look at what we have, and I want to count how many pieces there are. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. That means the bottom number, or the denominator, the down number, denominator down, DD, is going to be 6, because there's 6 total pieces. So this is the total. They are asking for shaded. So as I can see right here, 1, 2 are shaded. All right, and this is the shaded. So our answer is 2/6 are shaded. You have to be careful. Sometimes they ask for unshaded. If they ask for that, you would count 1, 2, 3, 4, and you'd have 4/6 are unshaded. So be careful of the words. This one they wanted shaded, so our answer is 2/6 are shaded. The last question says, is the following number line labeled correctly? All right, if you watched the Marvelous Measuring Morning Monday announcement, you saw this exact drawing, so hopefully you remembered that. So let's look at it. All right, on the number line, they start with 0, and when you count, you go 1, 2, there's a 3, 4, but we know between numbers, there's also fractions. So let's look at this. So if I have a number line, when I draw a number line, there's arrows on each end because numbers go on forever in both directions. So if they're going to put their 0 on here, and then they're going to have a 1, what I like to do when I do my number lines is find the exact middle, or as much as I can, all right, because that's halfway. And so I'm going to put a half right here. Now they didn't have the number 1/2, so let's see what they did do. They had a little dash here and a little dash here. What you're doing is you're counting jumps on a number line. So you start at 0, and I'm going to count, here's 1 jump. So I'll put a 1 right here. Here's 2 jumps. I'll put a 2 right here. Here's 3 jumps. I'm going to put a 3. And 4 jumps. I'm going to put a 4 right here. Now remember on the last problem, when we counted how many pieces total there were, that was the denominator, or the number on the bottom. So all of these will have a 4 on the bottom because it took 4 jumps to get from 0 to 1 on this number line. So here's my 4 for the down, or the denominator. So if you look at the number line now, we have 0. Our first jump is 1/4, 2/4. 2 is half of 4, so that's also a half. I take another jump, 3/4, and then 4/4 is also known as 1. The same number over the same number always equals 1 whole. Think about it when I would grade your math boxes quiz. If you got a 10 over 10, it was 100%. 1 whole, the whole paper was correct. So whenever you have numerator and denominator the same, it always means 1 whole. So the answer is yes. Yes, they did label this correctly. They have 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps. Their denominator's 4. And then you just count like normal, 1, 2, 3. And then I'd have 4/4 as 1 whole. So the answer is yes. All right, that's our Marvelous Measuring Monday. Make sure at the bottom you submit it. If you want a copy, you can toggle over and say yes, you want a copy of your answers. Make sure you also click the blue marked as done button on Google Classroom if it's there for you. All right, have a marvelous Monday.